What's good, y'all? So last night, I had one of those experiences that life tends to throw my way from time to time to really shake me up, to really get me to sit back and analyze life. But last night's experience really made me just sit back and just go, huh. When everything was all said and done, I was just like, huh. Well, if that wasn't a coincidence, if that wasn't a little coinky dink, you know what I'm saying? In my video yesterday, I talked about a lot of things, but one of the thousand things I brought up from my mind was that I'm just ready for my next teacher. I'm ready to learn my next big lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm ready. And the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, that's exactly what happened. But before I share that one, let me give you a little bit more of like how I put these things together. There was only two videos, I believe. There's only two videos that I've removed off of this channel, right? And one of which was one I got like super emotional because I was in a very, very, very lost place. And I just don't want that one to stay on the internet forever. I'm sure someone screenshot it, recorded, and someone might be trying to wait until they can use that against me. Go ahead. I'll own up to it. That's me. Just like, you're the asshole for trying to weaponize that against me, so I ain't worried about that. But nevertheless, that's just something that I just didn't want floating around out like that, because that's not me. That's not me normally. I like to be open and honest, but that one was a little bit, that should have been more for me, but I was emotional. It just came out. Nevertheless, in that video, like, I was so lost that I was just like pretty much pleading for my next teacher. I was like, yo, someone just guide me. It's like of course I have family, friends I can always lean on, but it's like, nah, I live this own, I want my own. I want my own relationships, my own connections. Like, teach whoever you are. The student is ready. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Where are you, bro? Where are you, sis? Where are you? You know what I'm saying? I was just in that mode. But then not even a couple of days after that, I ran into JUCO, right? And JUCO was someone I talked about a couple of times, but JUCO was like, like this dude that I would have never given the time of day. But, just because of the energy that was summoning towards me, him and I had the most like profound conversation about gratitude. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, this dude he looked homeless. He looked homeless. His clothes had holes in them. You could tell he got his hoodie off the side of the street. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, this alcoholic, drinking his ass off, just drinking Fireball like it's sweet tea. You know what I'm saying? Drinking Fireball and beer at the same time. You could tell he's high off his mind, off of something. You know what I mean? It's like, but in that moment, he was able to sit down and teach me about gratitude. You know what I'm saying? And that was amazing to me because, like, I found myself while I was in his presence, letting him speak and speak and speak. I realized that I couldn't find myself to even match him. I couldn't find myself to speak in the presence of wisdom. You have to remember that everybody is everybody's teacher. Everyone around you could potentially teach you something, no matter how small or how big it is. And this homeless, drug addict, alcoholic was teaching me something right after I'm pleading to get my next lesson in life. Interesting, huh? A little coinky dink, don't you think? So then, with my experience from last night, the same thing happened. Not drug addict or nothing like that, but I made that video. I went about my day. Went to work the next day. Cool. And then part of my routine is like I go to a little sushi bar, and that's just what I get because there's not too many food options. So that's the main reason I keep going back there, because that's the only place I can get some actual vegan food. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting in my regular spot, just chop it up with the people that make my food, saying hey to everybody, because they know my order. They know I drink water with lemon every single day. Like they know me, so they just hook it all up before I even ask most of the time. But today, like this individual next to me, a couple seats over from me, wanted to strike up conversation with me. Now, don't get me wrong, the antisocial part of my brain was like, yo, there's mad people you could be talking to right now. Why me, bro? Like, why? But he just kept talking. He asked me a couple questions, like what I'm here for. Like, am I here for work? Am I here for this? Blah, 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 blah. I chopped it up a little bit, gave him my little short answer because I didn't really feel like talking. I'm done with work. I'm decompressing. I ain't trying to talk to nobody, man. You know what I'm saying? But then, I noticed something. He kept going out of his way to strike up conversation with specifically me. And I remembered the video I just made, plus my experiences of what happened right after I asked for my teacher to make themselves present in my world. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, maybe this is one of those. Let's see. So I started to entertain the conversation more. It got to the point where we were a little small talk, but then it got to the point where I felt like I was at his equal level. But then it got to the point where he started telling me a little bit about himself, and he was telling me about like how he knew everyone in the city. He was like one of the biggest like Coca-Cola distributors, you know what I'm saying? He's like where he's built his company, like he's working, he knows the value of hard work, he knows the this and that. And I also say, oh, this is my teacher. This is my teacher. There's a lesson to be learned here. So I just shut up. I contributed where I could and all this type of stuff. But I remember every time I started teaching, he was deeply interested in what I had to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, whole body language changed. He pointed his shoulders towards me to literally show me he was listening. And we just started going back and forth like we were old friends, just going back and forth, back and forth. I mean, we were literally talking about politics. We were literally talking about what is and what isn't. We had agreements and disagreements, but it was just such a enriching conversation. But then I always knew when it was time for me to shut up when he was talking about his networking, his communications with people, his connections with people, you know, the things that he's been through on his come up with building his business and such, you know, raising children, having a family, you know, learning what it's like to like be with an ex-wife, learning how to co-parent, you know, being involved in a child's life to which he's not really the father, but he's accepted the father figure in this role. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, I'm learning so much, and I'm not sure if he knows this or not, but nevertheless, I'm learning. So, you know, always be open to learn, because every time I say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, it happens. Every time. Every time. You know what I'm saying? And you have to remember too, like we are all one another's teachers. We are all teachers, we are all students. We all have a little tidbit that could be useful for the next person. You know, don't get me wrong. Now, this is more, I don't want by any means want to sound ungrateful for my experience, but like there is that part of me though that like I can't lie. I want my teacher to be like some like ninth dimensional being, you know what I'm saying? I want my teacher here in the flesh that's like 800 years old, but they just choose to keep incarnating back in here. You know what I'm saying? Like I want one of those teachers that are purely energy, but when I summon them, like they materialize next to me to have a conversation with me, to give me my next lesson. I can't lie, I want that. You know, I want that wise yogi, you know what I'm saying, that can like fix you by touching your forehead. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the stuff I want. And I know I'm a teach. Come on, man. Like, come on. You know I'm ready. You know I'm ready. But nevertheless, man, like I just been having a great time with life recently. You know what I'm saying? I've been having a great time with life, and it just seems like everything I want just starts to manifest in my world easier and easier. You know, and it's just these little lessons that let you know that life always hears you. The universe always hears you. You know, so keep talking to it. You know, whether you believe it to be God, Buddha, Yahweh, Yeshua, whatever it is, man. I always use the same typical list, but y'all know what I mean. Anything that y'all get y'all power in, whatever. If it makes you feel empowered and it's getting you everything that you want in your life, hey, I mean, as long as it ain't hurting nobody else, as long as it's not impeding on anybody else's free will, I don't give a shit what you do. As long as if you happy, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to share that with y'all, you know, because my life has just been awesome. And I just want to end it on this, man. When you operate from a high vibration in your mind, your world has no choice but to fulfill what's going on in your subconscious. I'm happy. I realize that everything I want, I summon. I beckon it into my world. I will some things into existence. I magnetize anything I want. I'm operating from the frequency that attracts these things to me. And with me getting into higher levels of wisdom, this little manifestation game is becoming easier and easier, because I'm applying higher level wisdom to something so simplistic. You know, I'm applying a high level of skill to a simple practice. That's just how I get down. So anyway, hope y'all got something from this one. Till the next one, y'all. Peace.